Hello and welcome to this intermediate flow. My name is Morgan. I'm a master instructor with Stick Mobility, and I will be guiding you today through a flow that helps mitigate injury and pain in the lower back and the hips, specifically by working on the separation or isolation of the hips and lower back and strengthening the hip joints. We're going to use both of our long sticks today, and let's get started right away. So we're going to work the separation of the hips from the spine in a split stance monkey hang, and we'll add some rotation of the spine from there. So you're going to start with your right leg forward and step back with your left leg into a small lunge stance or a split stance or B stance. The sticks are going to go at 3 and 9 o'clock right next to those hips, just a few inches away. Then you're going to reach up towards the top with just a little flex in the elbows. You're going to drive the sticks down into the floor at 40% tension and sink those hips straight down like you're on an elevator into a hang. So you're just going to let your body hang in this position, letting the shoulders fall up towards the ears. Check in with the lower body to make sure that the knee is right underneath the back hip. So my left knee is right underneath my left hip. It's not forward, and I'm not leaning in front of that back knee. From that hang, we're going to drive the sticks into the floor again at that 40% tension, which will pull the shoulders away from the ears, engaging the lats. We want the spine and hips to hang nice and heavy in this position, so we feel length in the spine. And then keeping that length, I want you to reach the left stick forward and open that right stick. Now the hips are going to stay still and the spine is going to rotate. So we're finding that isolation of the hips and the spine. Now we're going to switch to the other side. The right stick is going to reach forward while the left stick opens the chest to the left. Hold. So we'll feel engagement in the forearms and grip. And then let's go back to the left stick forward. We'll feel some rotation of that spine, and you may feel the lower body waking up a little bit in this small lunge stance as well. And switch to the right stick forward. Make sure you can breathe in this position. Let's go one more time. Left stick reaches forward. Again, feel those hips hanging nice and heavy. Light rotation of that spine, and the right stick forward. One more breath here. Then we'll come center with those sticks. Slowly come out of that lunge, and let's switch sides. So now the left leg is going to be forward. Right leg is going to be in the split stance, almost kickstand position. Reset your grip if you need to. Drive the sticks into the floor at 40% tension and sink down into that hang. First, just let the shoulders fall up towards the ears. And then you're going to drive the sticks into the floor at 40% tension again. Hold that. I'm going to show you from this angle. And from here, we're going to rotate. So let's reach the right stick forward this time. Hold. And reach the left stick forward. And hold. 2 more each side. We're going to reach the right stick forward. Feel those hips nice and stable as the spine rotates on top of that. And reach the left stick forward. And one more time, reach the right stick forward. Waking up that spine, waking up the grip and the lats. And the left stick, of course, waking up the lower body as well and those hips. Let's slowly come back center and come out of that position. We're going to do this one more time each way. This time I want to see if you can progress to a deeper hang. So instead of reaching towards the top, slide your hands down maybe an inch or 2, which is going to give us a deeper lunge position, getting a little more into those hips. So we'll drive those sticks down at 40% tension again. Sink those hips straight down, find that deep hang. And from there, drive the sticks again into the floor, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, and let's go right away into those rotations. Left stick reaches forward and hold. And switch, reach the right stick forward and hold. And let's go 2 more. Reach the left stick forward and hold. Keep breathing in this position. See if you can drive the sticks down a little bit more in this rotation to find more rotation of the spine. And then reach the right stick forward. Last one, left stick forward, opening the chest to the right in isolation from those hips. Don't let those hips rotate with you. And last time with the right stick forward. We're gonna slowly come back center, sinking down a little further and rest. Last time with the left leg forward, set up that split stance position. Grab a nice, comfortable grip that's challenging for the hips and sink those hips straight down into that hang. We're finding 40% tension into the floor here. Drive those sticks down. And here we go, reaching the right stick forward first. And exhale as you reach the left stick. Once you get to that rotation, drive the sticks down a little bit more to see if you can eke out a little more rotation from the spine. And reach the right stick forward, which just promotes a little bit more isolation of the hips and the spine. And reach that left stick forward. One more each, reach the right stick forward, really waking up that entire body. And the left stick. Let's slowly come back center, sink a little further and rest. Okay, so now let's rotate the hips in isolation from the spine. So now the spine will stay still while we rotate the legs from the hip joints. We're gonna do stick taps and stick pushes. So we're gonna explore rotation of the hip and then we're going to increase the capacity of that rotation. So we'll be in a tall standing position. Sticks are gonna be at 11 and 1 o'clock. Bottoms of the stick will be angled towards you because we need the foot to be able to touch and tap those sticks. We're gonna hold the sticks at chest height and we're gonna drive down this time into the floor at 50% tension. So we're adding a little more tension to those sticks. That's gonna help keep the spine nice and still while we rotate the hips. You're gonna lift your right leg up to a low hip flexion. So the foot should be no higher than the top of the grippy part on the stick. So from that position, we're gonna go into internal hip rotation. You're gonna tap the right stick with the outside of that right foot and heel. Now notice as I rotate that I'm not moving my thigh to the side. So the thigh is gonna rotate on its axis. And then we're gonna switch to external. So slide that foot across, again, rotating the femur on its axis and rotate to external. Now, if your foot can't reach the stick, if you don't have that much rotation, no problem, just move your stick in or out so that you can find a more appropriate rotation for the hip. So now let's come back center and we're going to increase the tension to 60 and we're gonna lift the leg to hip height. So now we're gonna do the same exact thing, finding internal rotation, this time a little bit higher and hold. We wanna hold each of these positions. We're not gonna do too many reps, but we are gonna hold each one for a few seconds. Then let's sweep that leg across into external rotation and hold, maintaining that 50% tension on the sticks driving down, maintaining hip height if you can with that right leg. Now we'll come back center, increase to 70% tension, and we'll lift up even higher if this is accessible to you. Your highest hip flexion, and we're gonna tap each stick one more time, going over to internal rotation. Keep that thigh rotating right on its axis. Hold, keep 70% tension on those sticks. And let's go to external rotation. Try to hold that rotation. 3, 2, 1. Come back center and release. Now we get to switch sides. So we'll stand on the right leg. Sticks at 11 and 1 o'clock. Drive into the floor at 50% as that left leg comes up to that low hip flexion. Again, we're just exploring these hip rotations. So let's go into external, rotating that thigh right on its axis. Hold. And then let's slide over to external rotation. So we're gonna pull that foot across, adjusting the stick if necessary, and hold. Now let's come back center, increase that tension to 60% as we slide that leg up to 90 degrees hip flexion, hip height with that left leg. Make sure you're nice and stable on that right leg and sweep the foot across to internal rotation. Internal rotation is always outside of that knee. And hold. And let's slide it over to external rotation. And hold again, rotating right on its axis, keeping that 60% tension on the sticks. Let's come back center. Increase to 70% as you slide that leg up as high as it will go without bending that bottom knee or leaning away. And we'll go out to internal rotation one more time. And over to external. And we'll come back center and rest. Good. We're not done yet. So now we're going to increase the capacity of that hip rotation with stick pushes. Now, instead of just tapping the stick, we're going to push into the stick, seeing if we can actually bend it by using that hip rotation. So let's go back to the right side, same setup, tall standing, sticks at 11 and 1 or adjusted if need be. Then you're going to drive the sticks into the floor at 50%. We're going to lift that right leg up. And let's go into internal rotation, this time trying to push into that stick. So we're giving a little more tension into that stick as you slide out. Now you must remain tension on those sticks driving down in order for that stick not to slip away from the floor. Now release that tension on the stick and let's slide over to external rotation. So we're going to slide that foot across, seeing if you can bend the stick. Now your foot's pretty close to the end, so the chances of that stick flexing are pretty slim, but we're still going to try. And slowly come back center, increase to 60% as we slide that leg up to hip height. Now that we're more in the center of the stick, as you go into internal rotation, you might get some flex in that stick. We're not aiming for a major flex, just a little resistance against that rotation. Come back center and over to external rotation, pushing into that stick. And return back to center. Now let's increase to 70% tension, slide that leg all the way up. One more stick push. We're tapping the stick and then continuing that rotation to push into that stick, hopefully flexing just a little bit. And slowly come back center, over to external rotation, pushing into that stick. We're increasing the strength of that rotation. And slowly come back center and release that tension. Let's go with the left side one more time. Tall standing, holding those sticks at chest height at 11 and 1 o'clock. Drive down at 50% as you lift that left leg up. And let's go. Internal rotation, push into that stick. Using that rotation from the hip. And come back center. Let's slide over to external rotation and push. 3, keep breathing. 2, 1. Come back center, take a breath. Exhale as you increase that tension to 60% and lift that left leg to hip height. Let's go over to internal rotation and push. Trying to flex that stick just a little bit. And come back center. Over to external and push. Come back center, increase to 70% tension as you slide all the way up to that deepest hip flexion, over to internal rotation and push. Use those abdominals and obliques to help with that rotation here. And over to external. Last one. You could do it. Keep breathing. Rotate and push. 3, 2, 1. Come back center. And release the tension. Nice job. So let's move on. We're going to work the hips on the frontal plane, meaning side to side. So we're going to do what we call a Vitruvian man. We're going to slide the leg on the stick straight to the side. So I'll show you from the side view first. We're going to go in a tall standing position. Sticks are gonna be at 3 and 9 o'clock, just a few inches away from the feet. And then you're gonna hold them at shoulder height. So the arms are gonna be extended and they're gonna be straight out to the side. You're gonna drive those sticks into the floor at 60% tension. Keep that 60% tension as you shift your weight onto your left leg. Keep the right foot flexed as you attach the back of that right leg to the right stick. So if your stick is way out here, you might want to move it in a little bit closer to you. Keeping that 60% tension on the stick, you're going to slide the right leg up. Now, we're really working the lateral lines of the body. So if the knee is bending, if you're rotating your torso, you're not using the true lateral lines of your body. So try to keep that leg straight, keep that torso facing the front, and keep the leg low so that you really feel the outside of the hip, the obliques, the lats underneath the armpit, working hard to maintain an upright position in the body while the leg slides up the stick. Slowly bring that leg down. Try to keep it off the floor if you can. Take a deep breath to reset. We're increasing to 70% tension and slide back up. Now, as you slide the leg up the stick, push back into the stick with that leg. So we're not just sliding it, we are also giving some tension into that stick with the leg. And slowly lower that leg down. We're just gonna do one more rep here. Keep driving those sticks into the floor, this time increasing to 80% tension. We're working as hard as we can, almost as hard as we can here, to slide that leg up. Last time and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that leg down. Okay, so now let's try the left leg. Tall standing position, reset if you need, sticks at 3 and 9 o'clock, just a few inches away from those feet. Holding at shoulder height, drive those sticks at 50% tension. Shift your weight onto the right leg, slide that left leg out, and feel that connection with the stick. Take a deep breath here. Maintaining that 50%, lift the leg up. Remember, less is more, keep it low. As you're sliding, make sure that the toes are not also rotating up towards the ceiling. Keep those toes facing straight ahead. Slowly lower that leg back down. Take a deep breath. See if you got more tension in there. Drive into the floor with 60% tension as you slide that left leg up again. Feeling the lateral tissues of the body. 3, 2, 1. Slide that leg down. Take a deep breath. We're almost there. Increase that tension to 80%. And slide that leg up. See if that gives you a little more height. Hold here. Keep that leg pressing into the stick. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, now you're not done here. We're doing this one more time each way. Now this time, instead of pushing back into the stick, we're gonna take the leg behind the stick and push forward into the stick. Okay, so we're working the anterior tissues of the hip, the front of the hip, in addition to the lateral tissues of the body, okay? Go ahead, get your setup. Tall standing, sticks at 3 and 9, shoulder height with those hands. Driving down at 50%, shift your weight onto the left leg. Slide the right leg behind the stick this time. Keep that knee straight. Keep the toes pointed forward. Push forward into that stick as you slide the right leg up and hold. And then slowly slide that leg back down. Take a deep breath. Increase to 60%, increase to 70% as you slide that leg back up, pushing forward on that stick. Keep that leg nice and straight and slowly slide it back down. Increase to 80% tension this time, driving forward on that stick as you slide that leg up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slide it back down. One more set. We've got left leg. Go ahead and reset if you need. Let's start at 50% tension. Slide that left leg to the side behind the stick. We're pushing in forward on that stick as you slide up and hold. Really strengthening those hips here. and slowly come back down. It's not uncommon at all to feel your supporting hip, sometimes even more than the working hip. Go ahead, increase to 60% tension as you slide up. Just know that that's totally normal. So I feel my right hip working really hard in this movement, which is my supporting hip. And slowly come back down, increasing to 80% tension. Pushing forward on that stick, slide up and hold. 3, 2, 1, and come on down. Woo, we're in the final stretch. One more movement here in our flow today. We're going to do a 90-90. So the 90-90 is a base position from which we work a lot of mobility drills. We are going to set up the hips, the knees, and the ankles at a 90-degree angle. So if you get on the floor and the 90-90 is really difficult, you can grab a couple of yoga blocks and bolster yourself up under that front hip. Here, I could grab another yoga block for under my knee. Or if this knee is not reaching the floor, you can also grab something to bring under that knee for a little more contact there as well. You can also do this from a standing position, placing your legs on either on a block in front or to the side. Lastly, if the 90-90 position is difficult, you don't have any help or bolsters with you, you could just close it up to a shin box, working at a smaller angle than 90 degrees. So the left leg is going to be in front. The right leg is going to be your trail leg. The left knee is going to be straight out from the hip, so not outside of the hip, bent at 90 degrees, ankle is flexed. The right leg is going to be straight out from the hip, knee is bent at 90 degrees, ankle is flexed and active. The stick is going to be on the outside of your left hip at 9 o'clock. So you're going to place it right next to you, an inch away. Then you're gonna reach up tall with that hand like we're doing our monkey hang from before. You're gonna wrap the right arm around in front of the sternum and hold on to that stick. Then you're gonna drive that stick into the floor at 30% tension and hold. This is gonna help prevent any leaking of the rib cage of that front hip side, which is super common if this is new to you. Or if you are still working on those hip rotations. So just hold this position, 30% tension on that stick. The left leg is in external rotation and the right leg is in internal rotation from that hip. That's what makes this position so difficult. The hips are rotating in opposite ways and we're trying to stack the spine nice and straight like the stick on top of those two hips. So from here, we've been holding this position for a little while. We're gonna stretch into that front leg. So you're going to drive the left knee into the floor as you pitch the torso forward. So we're increasing the stretch on the front of that left hip. Then you're going to press that left foot and shin into the floor to come back up. We're gonna do that one more time, pushing forward into that stretch, holding once you get as far as you can go, and then push the foot and the shin into the floor to come back up. Now that we've done 2 of those, we're going to just hold this position again and see if you can maintain the nice and tall spine if you can let go of that right arm, lift the left stick off of the floor just 1 inch. If that makes you fall over, don't lift it. But if you think you can, go ahead and lift, hold for another 5. We're gonna drive both knees into the floor, trying to activate those hips to maintain a tall spine. Good, now we're gonna bring the stick back down and we're gonna come out of that position. So we're gonna switch sides. I'm gonna show you from the side angle this time. My right leg is in front, externally rotated. My left leg is behind me, internally rotated. Both knees are bent at 90 degrees. My stick is at 3 o'clock this time. I'm reaching up across the sternum, pushing that stick into the floor. So I'm hanging on that stick, but also trying to keep that rib cage away from the stick. Now you can also, as a progression, reach this arm out in front if you don't need it to hold onto the stick. Hold here for another 5, just feeling that 90-90 position. Drive both knees into the floor to really activate those hips. Now we're gonna pitch forward into that 90-90, stretching more into the front hip, hold. Now drive the foot and the shin into the floor to come back up. Let's do that one more time, pitching forward, hold, and push down with the foot and the shin to come back up. Now, maintain that tension in the front leg and increase the tension in the back leg as you slowly lift that stick off the floor by just shrugging that shoulder, and hold that position. Hold for another 3, 2, and 1. Good. So you can keep that progression and repeat the same exact thing, or we can move into another progression with the 90-90. We're going to do these just one more time. If you have a wall close by or a solid surface to press that stick into, you're going to press into the wall, press the stick into the ground on the outside of that front leg. So I'm going to go back to the left leg in front. Stick is on the outside of that left leg. Set up my 90-90. I'm going to hold the stick overhand right in front of my chest. Then I'm going to drive the stick into that surface to once again help pull that rib cage away from the floor. We're going to repeat the same movement. So keeping that tension on the wall or your surface, you're going to pitch forward into that stretch, hold, and then you're going to press the foot and the shin into the floor to come back up. One more time, pitching forward and hold. Make sure you're breathing. Drive down to come back up. Maintain that tension into the floor with both legs. And then you're going to see if you can lift that stick out in front of you. Now, I'll give you a secret. If you slide that stick over to your right, it's going to counterbalance that rib cage a little bit and help you hold this position for another 3, 2, 1, and rest. Let's switch sides. We've got one more and then we're all finished. So right leg is going to go in front. You're going to choose your progression with the stick. Both feet are flexed at 90 degrees. Drive that stick into the floor, holding at chest height 30%. I'm going to dive forward with my chest. Take a deep breath here. Push that foot and shin into the floor to come back up. And then let's repeat. Pushing into that wall as you stretch forward. And exhale. Come back up. Keep that tension into the floor with those legs as you lift the stick. Counterbalance if you need to. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Great job. You made it through. That was a difficult session. I enjoyed this workout with you, and I hope you repeat it over and over again and your hips are feeling wonderful. And I will see you next time.